the names of these vowels. Each one of these vowels has a name. But if you spend all your time on that, learning the names of them, there's no benefit to it, except for when you're in a grammar class and somebody says, what about the whole and bob? And you're like, what? Okay, so yes, when it gets later, just learn the names. And there are a few that I do teach you the names. For the most part, you don't need it to learn to read. Okay? All right, so the first one, all of these have the sound of ah. Okay, there is no ah in Hebrew and there is no a in Hebrew. Okay, so ah, and it's literally an open mouth. Ah, like yacht. Ah. All right, so they all of these transliterate into English as an A, as the letter A. So these X's will be any letter in Hebrew. On your page, I have olives. Those are olives. Okay, so you take the olive out and you put in a bet. You take that out and you put in a hey. Take that out, put in a mem, so you can replace any of those or any of these X's with a Hebrew letter. This is the placing of where the vowels are on the letter. Okay, so this one, it'll look like a dash underneath, and it says ah. If you're going to translate it into English, this would be an A. It would be whatever letter, and then it would be an A. Okay, the next one, ah. It looks like a little T. Okay, ah. Sometimes you will see it, some printers put, it looks like a T with like a circle at the bottom of it. I've had a couple students go, what is this? It's the same thing. All right, so ah. And then the last one is the dash with 2 dots, and it says ah. Transliterates as an A, but it is special. So on your paper it has 2 asterisks by it. So if you go down, the 2 asterisks at the bottom says these are limited to these gutturals. So the 5 letters at the bottom, Aleph, Hey, Chet, Ayin, and Resh. So you will only ever see this vowel under one of these 5 letters. Okay, so you'd never see this under a mem. You'd never see it under a noon. You'd never see it under a fe, a pay, any of that stuff.
With those letters, are they always with that, or can they sometimes have the other form?
They'll have the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, but you won't ever see that vowel under a regular consonant. All right, so all of these three shapes, right, vowels, say ah. So these are all the ah voweling. Okay, so let's throw something in. Give me a letter. Give me an A. No.
Pay.
Pay. So you say the sound of the consonant first. So we're going to throw in a pay here. So we say p, ah, pa, p, ah, pa. Nope, it wouldn't be in there because it's not a guttural.
That's right.
Okay, so let's throw a guttural up there. Let's do hey, ha. Okay. All right, so that's that one. Now this one, line 2, these are all the eh vowelings. So this is a small smile, eh, like beg, eh, eh, okay? And so they all transliterate into English as an E, and one of them is an apostrophe. We'll get there. Okay, so these are eh, transliterate to an E. So any letter in Hebrew, 2 dots. Some people call it snake eyes. What? Oh, okay. She calls it snake eyes. But anyways. Now you call it puppy toes, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yes, something else. Okay, so the 2 dots, eh. 3 dots, eh. 5 dots, eh. And then the schwa, eh, or silent.
Yeah.
Remember? Okay, so, yep, and these 2 are special. So this one has the double asterisk just like this one. So same rules. You'll only ever see the 5 dots under the 5 gutturals at the bottom. Okay? This one's special in that there's some different schwas. So this is the one I tell you the name of it. It's called a schwa. Marker. And it has a schwa in it. A schwa has a schwa in it. Okay, so schwa. And that's the name of this vowel. Schwa. Okay? So, we can go ahead and turn there. If you turn to the next page, Page 5. This is all the rules for shva. So you can have a vocal shva, and that'll be at the beginning of a word. It'll be a short eh. So this rule here, eh, or it'll be squished like this, shva. Do you hear eh in there? You will hear people say sheva. Right? That's just bad Hebrew. All right, shva. You can't even hear it, right? And that's because there's a shva in there. All right, so it's at the beginning of the word. So if you look at the very first letter is a mem. In English, it would be an M. And you have the 2 dots, right? The shva. So the rule is, because it's at the beginning, it is the short eh or squish sound. Okay? The next one you have is called a mobile shva, and it's in the middle of a word, and it's the syllable stop, which I taught you this on this. Okay? So it's not in the first position, it's in the second position, technically middle of the word, right? And so this is called a mobile shva, and that's to help you move. Mobile, be mobile, okay? And so the example on your page is Yisrael. Yis. So it's silent. You don't hear, you don't say Yisrael. Okay, there's no eh. It's a stop. Same with this one. Ivrit. It's not iverit, right? Ivrit. So this is the mobile shva, and I call it a syllable stop. It makes you stop to get your mouth ready for this rolling of this R, usually, like Israel. Okay? The third one is a silent shva, and this is usually at the end of a word. It's there, and you need to, if you're copying something, you need to write it. If you're just writing a word and you didn't, then don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're copying something, you need to make sure all the vowels are there. But if you're just like writing, then don't worry about it because it's not there. You can't hear it. Okay, so this is at. At. And it's that stop, but it's silent. You can't hear it. It wouldn't be at-eh. At-eh, right? At. All right, so that's these. So let's throw in some letters up here. So let's do a mem.
Mem.
Eh.
Mem.
Lamen. Eh. Le. Okay, now what could go here? Oreish. Re. Right? Re. All right, and this one, it can take any letter, any of the letters. What? Hey. Hey would be either he or stop. It just depends on what it is. Okay, now this gets crazy. What?
Because those all have more than 1 dot, I remember it because I call them eggs for eh.
There you go. Wow, so 2
So that's
eggs,
how I
3
remember
eggs,
that
5
one.
eggs. That's a
It's
good
just
one.
eggs, plural. So anytime you have more than, you know.
Yeah, there you go. That may help somebody. All this stuff helps, I'm telling you.
Then you stop
Okay.
because you broke 3 eggs.
Any way to get it in there. Okay, so a word can have both a mobile shva and a silent shva. So you need to look at your paper for this. It's in the middle. It's a big long word. And it's lahit ra'ot. Okay, so the first one is a mobile shva. So it's going to have a little eh, or it's going to be that squished. You can't hear it, but it's really there. Okay, so lahit, and then you're going to stop on the second one. And it's that guttural stop because you're getting ready to do an R. So lahit ra'ot. Lahit ra'ot. That means goodbye. Actually means see you later. It's an idiom. All right. And then a word can have 2 shvas. And it will be when a word has 2 shvas side by side in the middle of a word, the first shva is silent and the second shva is said, which is really annoying because I would think that it would be, but whatever. Okay, so this example is yishmeru. So you're stopping on the first one, yishmeru. Okay? You're not going to remember any of that, but that's why I gave you the paper. So, all right. I like to give too much information. I hate to go to class and be like, I wish I gave me more. I'd rather have your brain explode and then you just get which one out of it.
Put it all back together.
Yeah, just figure it out later, right? Or take the class 3 times. Okay, so those are all the F. Then the third line, these are E. This is the long E sound, okay? So this is a problem when people who don't know what they're doing transliterate stuff. Because sometimes they will transliterate it, instead of transliterating them to an I in English, they will put the 2 E's, which they're doing for sound instead of the proper transliteration. And the biggest example I have is the word bed a sheet. And that's because an English speaker looking at it, it looks like bear. Okay? And so you will have people that will transliterate it as S-H-E-E-T. So you're going to have somebody saying, yeah. Okay? Which that's all fine and dandy on that word. I'll let that go. But the rest of the words, no. Any excuse, okay? So, and I have a whole list of them in the back of your book. It's like Kaddish. You'll hear people say Kaddish.
Yeah.
No. E. Everything. Every time you see these vowelings, they transliterate to an I. They say E. Long E sound, not the I. So what happens is we transliterate and then we put English rules on those Hebrew words. Okay? So long E transliterates to an I. Any letter in Hebrew, 1 dot under it. That says E. This one, the dot with the yod. Now the yod is a Hebrew letter in its own right. But in this, it's called a mixed vowel. And we have those like A-E-O-U, I-E-G-H is a diphthong, but that kind of stuff like T-C-H, they all make one blend, one sound. And so this is the Hebrew version of that. We have a dot with the yod together, says E, but this transliterates to an I in English. Okay?
If
So-
you know me, that'll help you. Because my name is Lori, ends with an I, but you don't say Lori. You
Laura,
say Lori. So just remember me, and that'll help you.
That gave you an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it did actually.
okay, so let's stick some letters in here. So let's do a Gemal, which is a G. So G, E, G, Noon, N, E, Ni. Okay? All right, the fourth one. Now this is funny because in English we like to say O. That's an O. Don't we? That's an O. She's got an O in her name. No, she does not have an O. It's an O. O. Okay? And these transliterate to an O. Okay? And so this is any Hebrew letter, and it'll be up off to the left. It's backwards. Up off to the top left of a word, like up here. Okay? And it says O. This one is another mixed vowel situation here. This is a Vav, which is a Hebrew letter in its own right. And then it'll kind of be dotted. I think of this, I know I say because it's like an O, but I say it's like our I, right? An I is dotted, a lowercase I, though it doesn't say I. But I just think of it like that, like dotting the Vav. Okay, but this says O. Okay, the whole thing together. You don't say Vo, O. Okay? The third one is the little T with a Shva together. They say O. But they'll only be under the gutturals, the 5 gutturals. Okay? So let's throw in some letters. We have Tav, To, Dalet, Do, and then Resh, Ro. Okay? So you only see that under the gutturals. Okay. Number 5, going down. Is it? Why is it 6 on there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Maybe
Because
because
of the one with the snake arrows.
No, I did the Shva as a complete separate
Yeah,
line.
you
Yeah.
list.
Because I couldn't fit it on there because I love my Hebrew program. I do. I love it. It was an anniversary gift. I was so excited to have it, but there's some limitations. Okay. So, number 5 on the board, number 6 on your paper is oo. Now, we like to say ooh, right? Ooh. It's just ooh. Okay? This transliterates in English to a U. Okay? This will be any Hebrew letter. We have 3 dots going down in a diagonal. This is actually called a kibbutz because in Israeli dance, there's a dance where your foot is out like this. And the kibbutz is the angle of the dance. Kibbutz.
That's her boot.
Yeah. Okay. So, in a Hebrew letter, it'll be 3 lines going down a diagonal. And then this one is the same as this, mixed vowel. This is a vav, which is a letter in its own right. And we say it's being punched in the stomach. So this one, it's like a bright idea. Oh. And this one is ooh. I probably should be doing it. Watch. I'll be like, ooh, ooh. Okay. So, any letter. Kof. Ku. Kof. Ku. Okay. So it's not vu. It's just ooh. Okay? All right. That was the vowels. These are the exceptions. Not exciting. Okay, so all languages, except for Esperanto, has exceptions. Okay, so these are the specials. Like, you know, we teach kids, we're like, I says this, and this says this, and then we're like, and then they're like, well, what about this word? Oh, well, that's an exception, right? And then what about this word? Oh, well, that's an exception. So this is the Hebrew exceptions. Okay, so this one, they say A, right? A, but it transliterates into English as EY or EI. Okay? So it'll be the 2 dots with the yod, or 3 dots with the yod. Together says A. Okay? This one, number 7 or number 8 on your paper. I just have to wipe this out. Okay, these say I, but they transliterate as AI. And this is like Adonai. So if you see the word Adonai written out, you don't go Adonai. Well, yes. Wait a minute. I gotta change that. Adonai or Adonai. I mean, you know, you just say Adonai. AI, yeah, I. But for some reason, when we start getting into other words, you freak out. Okay, so the dash with the yod says I, but transliterates as AI. And the little T with the yod together say I, but transliterate as that. So let's throw in some letters up here. Let's do a mem. May. Gimel. No. Cough. Cough. Happy. Cough. K. K. Okay. Dalet. Dalet. Die.
Die.
Oh, cut. Okay. Hi. Hi. Which one? Let's see. Okay. Last one. So these say oi and transliterate as OY or OI. So this would be any Hebrew letter with the vav dotted and a yod together. This is kind of like our IGH, you know, all those like bunch of letters together. So do bet. Boy. Yeah, see, you got it. It's doing good. Okay. So this is your best friend. Memorize it, literally. I didn't give Sharon and Alex, because y'all should already have them. On the front of your book was these. You already have these? Yeah, you already have them. Okay, so this is just a piece of art that I made. It is the Aleph Bet without the final forms from Aleph to Bet. So it was funny because like one of my early students when I first did this, they put this on their refrigerator and like at the end of class they were like, but at first she's like, I didn't know what it was. Okay, but these two are useful in the fact of this is the letters with the final forms and the names are at the bottom and the numerical values are on there. And this is the vowels and that's an Aleph. So just replace different letters in with the Aleph and the sounds that they make. So this is like for your refrigerator, at work, office, whatever, so that you can see it often. And I usually, if I have a Hebrew word that I'm working on that I cannot get in my head, I will put it on my refrigerator and I have to say it before I can open it. And then I shut it and have to say it. And then I start thinking that it's the refrigerator. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I think I'm almost done. Let me see if I get that. I think I go over. Yes, page 6. Okay, so page 6 is Beged Kefet. This was new last session, so Alex and Sharon, this will be, well, you may know it, but new information for you. Okay, so page 6 in the student pages. Beged Kefet means absolutely nothing. Beged is a garment, but Kefet. And so what this is these are, right here, all the way across the top, letters in the Hebrew that have a dagesh in the middle of them. So, you'll have this letter, which is vet, and then there's a different form, and it'll have a dot in the middle. That's called a dagesh, the dot. And that changes the letter. It really just changes the sound. And when you actually study it out more, it really doesn't change a whole lot. But at first, it's going to be completely different for you. So there's a whole list right here of letters in the Hebrew that have a dagesh in the middle. But only some of them we care about. Okay? So the bet, the gimel, the dalet, the kaf, the fe, and the tav all can have a dagesh or not. Okay? You'll come across different versions of them. The ones that do not change the sound in the letters that are not underlined. So when vet, it's va. When it does, it's ba. Okay. The next one underlined is the kaf. When it's not. When it doesn't have a dot, it's what? Kaf. It's kaf. Kaf. When it does, it's kaf. Okay, kaf and chaf, like a chet. Okay, and then fe, which technically, kind of. Okay, so when it doesn't have a dagesh, it's a f sound, like an F. When it does, it's a P sound, like a P. Okay? Those three are the only ones we care about. If you see a gimel with a dot, you ignore the dot. If you see a dalet with it, you ignore it. And if you see a tav with it, you ignore it. Okay, we ignore it. This is why you will have words like Beth Israel, Beth Lahem, right? Because in the old days, the dot in a tav made it a th. And so that's why you have Beth Lahem when it's Beit Lachem. So they would see the dagesh and they would make it a th instead of a t. But we don't have those rules anymore. In modern Hebrew, they don't use it, so you just ignore them. The gimel used to have a completely different sound. It was that guttural ayin thing. The swallow. See, I did it. Okay, and then, yeah, and then dalet. I used to know dalet, but I don't remember anymore. Remember?
I think it was
TH as well?
TH on Dalet.
Yeah, dalet.
Yeah.
Well, no, because that's the top having a. I forget, there was a reason that dalet and it changed it too, but none of those apply anymore. So the only ones we care about, which you'll learn as we learn the letters, are the ones that are underlined. Okay. The name of this dot is dagesh. Dagesh. Okay, and it means emphasis. That's literally what it means. Okay, and then so there's a dagesh. We say it's lina, although it looks like a lot of other things. It means soft or weak. Okay, and it occurs at the beginning of a word. So, for instance, betashit. That bet has a dagesh in it. And it's a dagesh lina. And it does occur in the middle of a word when no vowel precedes it. Yeah. Moving on. Some of these is like, yeah, I just give you the information so you have it, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so here's some examples. Davar, beged, okay? It's supposed to be softening that. I don't hear it, but maybe an Israeli does. I don't know. Okay, the next one, dagesh forte. If you play piano or any kind of instrument, you know that means loud, strong. We say chazak, like today, chazak, chazak, benit, chazak. It indicates a doubling of the letter. So we'll get more into that next week. But basically, if a vowel preceded the dagesh, it's a dagesh forte, meaning doubled letter. So, for instance, Abba, when we spell, so we see the word Abba, and when we spell it in English, we put two B's. Why do we put two B's? Because we didn't know, but it had a dagesh, which was a doubler. Okay? Shabbat, same thing, two B's, because it was a doubler. Zadik has two D's because there was a doubler. Okay? The 5 gutturals are 5 letters that never have a dagesh. Okay, so aleph will not have a dot in the middle of it. A hey will not have a dot in the middle of it, although hold on a minute. Isn't it funny when you say never? And then you have chet, it will never have a dot in the middle. Ayin will not have a dot in the middle, and a reish will not have a dot in the middle. Now, here's the exception. A mapik is a hey with a dagesh. But it's only at the end of a word, and it makes the hey pronounced and indicates the word is possessive. Okay, so there's a bazillion Hebrew words that end in AH, right? It's the feminine ending. There's a lot of, Ruach. No, that's a chet. What? Havara, Shava. Right, all of these you hear ah. Well, you're not hearing the H. The H is like almost silent, right? Shava. Right? You don't hear the at the end. When it's a mapik, which is the dot, it actually is. So you say, if it had one, you say shva. Shva. I don't know. Okay? But what's so cool is I had to put this on here because Yah, which is God's poetic name, does have a mapik in it. And so it is pronounced. Isn't that cool? I had to put it on there. When I learn something new, y'all get it too.
I just said, yeah.
And I know. She read it like 15 times, Psalms 118. All right. Almost done. All right, so pages 7 through 10, I'm just showing you the rest of your notebook. So, page 1 has, this is your student pages, has the name of each letter and how to spell that, the letter shape with the suffix, and the pronunciation with the actual accent. Okay, so you see the bold aleph. Aleph. All right, page 2 is Genesis 1 through 5. So our Bible says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In Hebrew, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'haaretz, da-da-da. Okay, so that is your first chapter, first chapter, right? Goes to 5? No. First passage. Yeah, the first passage of the Bible. Okay, in Hebrew. We will be using this a lot. Now, where'd my paper go? Can you flip that over? Yep. Okay, so the reason why I teach you script. Okay, if you were taking a ulpan, which is an adult Hebrew class with an Israeli sabra, okay, an Israeli native, big, like $900, like big time money, okay, and you had to be there at a certain time, you watch on your computer, and she's teaching on a board, everything she writes is going to be in cursive or script. So I showed you all that on Facebook and stuff, right? Okay. So remember? Okay. So I had my class, this class, we in my other class, all come together, and I had 2 Israelis come and teach us, or they let us ask them questions. That was so fun. And as soon as he started writing on the board, he started writing in script. And everybody was like, "What? I told you I learned your script." Okay, because everything he wrote was in script. This is literally, it becomes your handwriting. Okay, when you teach a kid the alphabet right, they're like, A, and then, right, A, right? But then you look at a book, and an A is printed like this, right? So you have that. Then you have a cursive A, and they're like, I can't read it, but it's the same thing, it's like your brain. So the reason why I teach you both at the same time is so that you'll recognize and you need to use it. So
you know what's sad that's happening to the kids in America? They're no longer teaching cursive, and these kids can't read cursive. It's like a code to them.
they can't even sign their name.
And they just teach them how to take tests.
Yeah. And then now, you know, you go to a place and you got to sign with your finger. I'm like, that's going to have to be a new skill taught in school because I can't write with my finger. It's so weird. I'm like, you can't prove that's my.
It never looks like my signature.
I know. I'm like, we got to go back to school and learn to write with your finger.
I have to learn to draw a straight line because it doesn't matter.
No, it don't. They
Yes.
don't really. They don't even check.
Yeah, they'll be like, is this your line? Yeah. Oh no, mine's a little more crooked. Somebody forged it. Okay, so what I did was, okay, there'll be some people that, like, say you decided that you wanted to get an Israeli pen pal, right? Oh, you're so excited, you find somebody, you go online, will you be my pen pal so I can practice? Oh yeah. And the letter comes, see that page right there? It's all gonna be in script, without the vowels. And you're gonna be like, I'll get back to you in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Because they literally, that's how they write. They write in script, and there's no vowels. Now, I put the vowels on there, and I also was very particular and did the letters right so that, you know, you could read it. But if I was just gonna write, it would become my handwriting, right? So, like, in school, I learned, I can't even remember, but it was like, something like this. Was my name, Tracy, right? So T, and then later on, you know, I made it a little fancier, and then I wanted to be like my dad one year, and I was like, because that's how he did his, right? And then and now, what? That's not even my handwriting. I can't even do my handwriting. Hold on. Let me sign my name. Okay. Yeah, okay, so then it just becomes your own, right? So cursive is about not doing it exactly like manuscript, right? It becomes your own personality.
Tweak it in on it.
Right? And some people like have a heart over the name, or they have the, you know, so it becomes your own. And that's what script eventually is going to become, is that you're going to get faster and faster at it, and it's going to not look like mine, and it's not going to look like hers, and you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all become chicken scratch. Okay? So that's how script is. So I want you to learn them at the same time so you recognize them. When we get to making flashcards, which we'll talk about next week, I literally made script flashcards along with and would mix them in so that it would come up and I would have to at least recognize it.
Much easier. Take my word for it. I learned all of it without the cursive. And then trying to learn a few years later, very hard.
And that's how I learned too. I learned without it and then had to relearn it. And Barb still refuses. Anyways, okay, so this is an example of some homework you can do if you want. Except you're doing it. Okay.
This is mandatory. Everybody else is if you want.
So it's gonna end up looking like my paper I have in the middle of the table over there. Okay, so you're gonna take this and you're gonna look, and you can cheat in this class. You can cheat. Please cheat. Okay. So take your page 1 and have your page 2 out and have your piece of paper. And I mean, sit there, just do one line at a time. All right, that's a bet. Now go find what a bet is, right? And then find it in script. And then, I mean, seriously, just you do one word and go do something else. Come back, do another word, and just practice and get that so that you recognize it. Okay, Leviticus 23. Now the new students, I copied mine so it was already numbered. If y'all did not number it yet, we need to number it. Leviticus 23, which is page 3. This is literally Leviticus chapter 23 in Hebrew. And that is, you have them numbered, good job. It is literally the passage of scripture on the high holy days. Okay, so it's going to say like, and the Lord said to Moshe, speak to the children of Israel and tell them to keep the Sabbath, blah, 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 and all this stuff's on the holidays. So what I want you, this is part of your homework, not this week, but when I teach you a letter, so let's say you learn Aleph, that week you're going to go home and you're going to use it like a word search, okay? And you're going to start over here on the right, and you're going to go down, and you're going to find the first Aleph, okay? And you're going to look at what the vowel is underneath. Now have your vowel sheet next to you, because you don't know them, right? And you're going to look at that and you're going to say 3 dots. You come down, you're going to say, that says eh. Now, aleph is silent, and it makes no sound, so you don't have to worry about that one. Okay, eh. Then you're going to go find the next aleph. Well, that next aleph doesn't have any vowels under it, so it's silent. Keep going. The next one has 3 dots. If you forget, it says eh. Okay, and you keep going. And then the next week, you're going to learn bet. So then you're going to do bet, and you're going to keep going. If you do this, I promise it works. It gets you recognizing the letter. This is a different print than some of the letters that you're going to see printed. So, because somebody will say, that doesn't look like a Gimel.
It's a fancy print.
Yep. And so it gives you another recognition of a different shaped letter of the same thing. And then it helps you practice seeing the letters, the sounds of the letters, and then also the vowel that's under it. Now, eventually, by the last class, when you know all your letters, you literally could sound out every word on the page if you wanted to. You might not know. Let's see. Otam. I sounded it out. I do know what it means, but Otam. You don't know what it means, right? So I don't know. Okay, but it means they. So that's where vocabulary comes in. Now, once you get going, this is a long time from now. Once you get going, what happens is you get out, like, say, a Psalms. Let's say Psalms 23. You're familiar with Psalms 23, right? You kind of know what it's talking about. You get out the Psalms. You go with the first word. Okay, I don't know what that one is. Go look it up. Get the vocabulary behind it. And then, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know. Oh, don't know this word. Go look it up. And eventually you get there. Okay? Now, pages 7 through 10 is how to write the letters. Now, I teach you this each week, but when you're at home practicing, so this is the book print on the right, is the letter name and the book print. So how a computer will print it. You could never write like that. Then you have manuscript. So this is like teaching a kid A, right? So this is how you are going to write aleph, stick figures, okay? Then this is script, so cursive, okay? And then I give you the literal how-to, like literally draw this line, then this line, then this line, okay? And it's good to use graph paper for the boxes, all right? And then it goes down, more letters, more letters. The sophites are in there too. And then at the very last, page 10 at the bottom, I wrote the whole alphabet out in print and cursive so that you could see the spacing. So if you look, they're like all the same size until you get to tet. It's up higher. Come down here, Kaf Sophie is lower. Lamed is taller. Keep going. Do you see what I'm saying? Like kind of like P's and F's and T's and B's and all that, how they go up and down. And then in the print. It's kind of funny how the print is more equal and script is higher. Okay, so I think that's it. Yay! We survived! Any questions? Did you make him sign this paper?
I'm giving it to him, but he's not signing it.
Did you write do not between I and promise?
I highlighted promise for him, but he still hasn't signed it.
I told her to write between I and promise, do not.
No. He was spanking.
I get one of the last ones. I haven't found it yet. Boss keeps me so busy at work.
Now you're lying.
Sending him out on jobs and you're